and welcome to Undisputed, live from Los Angeles. I'm Jen Hale, here with Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharpe. You look like you're ready for action.
Hey, you know what I'm putting this on? Closing argument about to happen. Somebody about to go down.
Ooh.
Have you ever won a single case in your life?
What?
I'd be shocked to find that out because I don't know one.
Hey.
You know, I've been wondering, whatever happened to that guy? What was his name? James? James? Whatever happened to him? It's all about number 2 now, right? It's his league.
A-list basketball player, A-list actor.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe he's gone.
Producer.
Maybe he's gone totally into acting.
No, he's not. No, he's not. No, he's
That's
not.
all right.
Rumor has it Kawhi's the most powerful man in basketball.
I just want to talk about number 2 now.
Oh, you want to talk about him again? Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's get started then with their topic of choice this morning, the Claw. We all know by now that Kawhi, yes, he's a Clipper, but for how long? He reportedly signed a 3-year deal for $103 million, but Boardman has a player option after the 2nd year, so that means he could be a free agent in 2021.
Oh.
Most analysts were predicting Kawhi would ink a 4-year deal. Ironically, Paul George can also become a free agent in 2 years. Coincidence? Probably not. Shannon, what does this tell you?
It's about having control, Skip. Really, the only leverage that these superstar players, and I believe all the superstar players should do this, is that their ability to leave. Because a lot of times, Skip, if I sign a long-term deal, you tell me, okay, you're recruiting me. And you tell me, well, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we're competitive. If we have to go to the luxury cap, in the luxury cap, I'm willing to spend. I'm willing to put great players around you. Well, I signed a long-term deal. You locked me in for 4 years. And then all of a sudden in year 2, you're like, nah, we good. We're not going to spend anymore. But the threat, because it's not very often that you get these guys. And when you get a superstar, you're willing to do almost anything to keep him. You see, the threat of him leaving means more to you than you not going in the luxury tax. Skip, when I was growing up, my grandmother really couldn't force me to do anything. But the threat of her tearing my ass up made me do everything.
You were scared of your grandmother?
Yeah, because
I thought you were more scared of your grandfather.
Both, but after my grandfather passed, you know, she started wearing both hats. My grandma had no problem putting them hands in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? You act the fool, you show out, you get woe out. So, Skip, the thing for Kawhi, he's looking at it like, okay, I know you're telling me all this. You're telling me, you know, you're going to do this, and we're going to keep Paul, and we're going to add pieces around. I'm going to make sure you do that. You know where he got that from. Where did he get that from, Skip?
Oh, stole a page out of you.
Oh, you noticed that, too?
The deposed Kings.
Oh, Goat James.
Yeah.
Because when he went back to Cleveland, Dan Gilbert told him all the things that he was going to do to make sure they stay competitive. And then all of a sudden, he didn't want to do it. So LeBron had to bounce. But LeBron kept doing these 1-year deals. 1 year, okay. Because long as I keep my foot on your neck, you're going to keep doing what you're supposed to do. And that's what Kawhi is doing. That's what a lot of these great players are doing because that's the only leverage they have. That's their power, Skip. Their ability to walk at the end of 1 or 2 years. That's the power. They're using it.
So, Jen, this is highly amusing to me because for weeks on end, I've sat across from this man, my partner on this show, and first, all through the playoffs, he kept telling me what an injury risk number 2 was. He was always hurt. And, boy, they should be concerned about number 2 because he's got this and that and the other. I couldn't keep up with all the thises and the that's because you never know about this guy.
Yeah, he was hurt.
So one of the all-time injury risks in the history of the NBA now rules the NBA. I've never seen quite like it. And I had to sit and listen to you last week because you were convinced to a 94.7% level that he was going to join forces with your now deposed King, James.
Yeah.
And so you were all about the Claw. The Claw is coming to L.A.
96.2.
Yeah, 96.2. The Claw is coming to L.A., and he was coming to L.A.
Yeah.
He's just going to the other side.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is all highly amusing to me because I never, ever thought I would see the day that number 2 and Paul George rule the NBA landscape. They are going to dictate the outcome of the NBA maybe for the foreseeable future, for the next, I don't know, 5-7 years.
Not true. Because guess who else is a free agent in 2021?
Let's see, by then he'll be in his like 20th year. I don't know.
You're 19.
These guys will be still in their prime. They might be nearing the end of their
Still
prime.
can't see him. Still can't see old GOAT.
No, you don't think so?
Nope.
It sure looks to me like the two guys who just shunned LeBron James in back-to-back years, who said, nope, we want no part of him. These two guys connived to and conspired to unite against the king in his own building. I've never seen anything like this before. They said, let's go there and let's play for the Clippers. Let's share the building, the king's palace, except we're going to depose him because we're basically going to assassinate him in his own building.
So that's what this signing this 2-year deal really means?
Yeah, because they are now perfectly positioned, if you really think about it, to try to beat the king at his own game in his own building, which they're now, they have vaulted to the Vegas favorites, right? Okay,
yes,
so you got to give them that shot.
Yes.
You got to give them that.
Okay.
They did that.
Yes.
They pulled that much off. Now they got to back it up. That's a whole nother issue.
Right.
But they are positioned now with only 2-year deals because both are going to wind up, at the same time. They could have their ultimate goal and dream realized in 2 years because remember, both of these guys grew up in Southern California as Laker fans. Both of them. They weren't Clipper fans. Who was a Clipper fan?
Oh, so that's what you're thinking.
Am I thinking? They're thinking. Seriously. They're in perfect position to not only beat the king, but then to replace the king because he might be on his way out.
So then so in other words, you beat the man, then dethrone him and move into his kingdom.
And you move into his house. His house. You keep telling me Staples is his house, at least his new house, right?
Yep.
You say it's the Lakers' house?
Yep.
Okay, if it's the Lakers' house, maybe he's going to have to move out of the Lakers' house in 2 years and they will replace him. Isn't it right on schedule? Isn't it? It was beautiful what this guy pulled off. You know what it reminds me of? Do you know the movie The Usual Suspects?
I do. Kaiser
Sose. This guy, number 2, has actually been all along Kaiser Sose, character played by Kevin Spacey. He was the shadowy figure in the movie that you never saw coming until it was too late. So and he left a trail of blood.
So in other words, you said that old limp that Kaiser had, what Kawhi was putting on in the finals.
He was limping. He was limping all the way home, and it was fake. He was actually fake limping, right?
Yeah.
Because what happens at the end of the movie? Kevin Spacey walks out of the office and he's limping and he's limping, and then all of a sudden he's walking faster and faster, and all of a sudden he's walking full speed. Choo, choo, choo. Here he comes, right back to L.A.
Yes.
So Kaiser Sose LeBron didn't see him coming.
Right.
Because LeBron thought he was going to join foot. Nope, Kaiser Sose doesn't work like that.
Well, look, they did a great job, and you and I discussed this on Monday, how with all these great insiders that we have, from the Woj and from Chris Broussard and all these guys that inside.
He beat them all at their own game.
He did.
He did.
To keep the lid on this. So basically, it was him and his Uncle Dennis, the Clippers, and the OKC. And how it didn't leak in OKC, we understand why it wouldn't leak in the Clippers, because two teams that he had them put them to the side because they leaked information that he told them that he wanted to keep quiet.
Yeah.
So the Clippers weren't going to blow this. If it had got out, it would have gotten out on the OKC side. But this is what was so puzzling to me. Everybody now, Paul George is that guy. The very guy that you call Paul George, the very guy
that I called George Paul.
You call George Paul, yes.
Why do I call him that? Why have I called him that?
You called him.
Because right on schedule, when you least expect it, when you think, uh-oh, he's ready to become that guy.
Right.
Nope, he turns back into George Paul.
And the guy that you said was a poor man's LeBron James, and he had a great season. I won't deny that. And I defended him because I always thought he was a very good player. Now, he had a great season last year. But now Paul George is like, oh, boy, they got Paul George. You see what they did?
I agree.
Paul George running thing. Paul George ain't run nothing.
Okay.
All he did, tag along. That's what he did.
All right, so now I got another fictional analogy for you because you often bring this Shakespeare play up on this show.
Okay.
It is called Julius Caesar.
Yes.
Okay? And it really applies to what we're seeing right now. Do you know Julius? I think you do. A little bit. You're the guy who brings it up. I never try to grandstand over here, even though I went to Vanderbilt, and I majored in English, and I did Shakespeare, and I know all the plays. And if Shakespeare ever comes up as a category in Jeopardy, it's lights out. But we go to Julius Caesar. What happened? What's the big line in the play is et tu, Brute, meaning, and you did this to me? You did this? He stabbed him. He assassinated Caesar, one of his